And I will start our Alpha Geek Media. Here we go. What the? Why is that blank? Well, that's sad. My little pre-roll thing isn't working. I'll try this one.
The Daily Tech News Show with Tom Merritt.
That one works. All right, here we go.
The Daily Tech News Show with Tom Merritt is funded by patrons like you and me. Each month I pledge $1. Being British, I had no idea what a dollar was, so I stayed up for hours researching and discovered that it is about 62 pence. To pledge 62p, or perhaps even more, go to patreon.com/acedetect.
This is the Daily Tech News for Thursday, October 15th, 2015. I'm Tom Merritt. Joining me today, as he does sometimes on Thursdays, Justin Robert Young, itinerant man about the country. How are you?
You know, wherever someone's about to tell you some tech news, look for me, Ma. I'll be there.
Coming over the horizon. Also, editor...
Just update for everybody, since we do bring you the #1 fastest, most up-to-date news on this show. It is now 65p for $1.
Ah, very good.
Nice.
Thank you for that correction. Also joining us, Editor-in-Chief of Tech Republic, Mr. Jason Hiner, back on the show. Thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, always a pleasure. Love being back on DTNS.
It's you've been doing quite a bit of traveling about as well. How's Follow the Geeks going?
Yeah, it's going fantastic. Just released Chapter 9 on Leo Laporte this month, and one more chapter left. So it's been a lot of fun. Love this project.
So this is the penultimate free chapter. You go to Follow the Geeks, you read it,
Yes.
and then you're like soliciting comments from folks. It's awesome.
Yes, followthegeeksbook.com. That one will be up. Chapter will be up for a couple more weeks, and then Chapter 10 comes out, The Last Mystery.
All right. I can't wait to uncover the last mystery.
Nice.
Meanwhile, we got some headlines to get to, so let's get to them. Here they are. Yahoo updated its mobile app for iOS and Android today. The app can now manage email from Outlook, Hotmail, and AOL. It can't do Gmail and Exchange yet. It pulls in avatars and contact details from linked social accounts, things like Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, as well as details from previous emails. So it looks in the signatures for phone numbers or alternate email addresses, adds new gesture controls, some pretty nice search functions, but the big feature folks are talking about is something called Account Key, which lets you ditch your password in favor of confirming your login. And your login could be on a desktop, but you confirm it through a notification sent to your phone's app. We're gonna talk a little bit about that and just the idea of getting rid of passwords in general later on. But first impressions on a new Yahoo Mail app, gentlemen.
Well, you know, it feels to me like we are in a bit of a golden age for rethinking email. You know, Mailbox made quite a big splash. Google, you know, has looked to, you know, give two versions of the Gmail experience with the traditional and inbox. I'm glad people are trying to think about it, because I think what we are getting out of it is not one complete package, but a lot of really, really good hints as to what email should be going forward.
Yeah, and you also have everybody's trying to reinvent messaging, you know, at the same time too, and trying to get the things that you don't need email, you know, out of email, you know, like with Slack and other kind of messaging, even iMessage and the proliferation of those things, and WhatsApp. So I think it is good that at the same time, you know, Mail should adapt to keep up with the things that it's good at and that you still need it for, you know, that sort of non-contiguous communication that's, you know, you don't have to get to right away.
Yahoo Mail is the only email address from my 1996 slate of email addresses, or I don't know if it was 96 exactly, but that 90s era that I still have and still use for a few things, not a lot. I have to say, when I logged into that app today, it's nicely designed. It's pretty.
Yeah, and that's been kind of the hallmark of what Yahoo's done over the last few years. They've made really, really pretty, well-functioning apps. They've put a priority on it, and it's paying dividends. But to Jason's point, the one thing that for whatever reason nobody wants to pull out of the email is to do. And Yahoo made a big deal about how it's going to be easier to email yourself to use the new Yahoo app as to-do. So for whatever reason, we want to bring out every other functionality except the to-do list. That, for some reason, will forever be stapled to the inbox.
Yeah.
Facebook is investigating widespread reports that battery drain is being caused by its iOS app. The app reportedly continues to run in the background, even with background refresh disabled. A Facebook spokesperson told TechCrunch the company hopes to have a fix out soon.
This is interesting because I don't think Facebook knows why it's doing it, and I think they're pretty convinced it's doing it, but it's not doing it for everyone. Like my wife uses Facebook constantly, and she's using iOS right now, and it's not doing anything bad to her battery. So it's a weird set of circumstances that have to happen for this to start draining on your battery. And nobody gets quite cracked what it is. A lot of people thought it might have to do with Facebook video running, but there are varying results on that as well.
Well, and like you said, it's hard to know what is the line between this and urban legend, right? You know, whenever things like this kind of pop up, all it really takes is 3 of the top tech blogs to report on it, and all of a sudden it's fact and living in a bite-sized 15-second video playing inside your desktop or mobile Facebook experience. So I think it certainly seems to be real, and you know, I think there's a reason why Facebook is just throwing out soon, because like you said, they don't know.
I mean, if you look at the bloggers that are documenting it, they're fairly reliable people. And Facebook responding with, we're investigating this, we're going to have a fix soon, rather than like, we're investigating this and we'll determine if it's an issue. It makes me think they know it's an issue.
Well, I mean, they didn't say you're holding it wrong, so that's good.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is battery drain is such a weird problem and can be caused by so many different things, up to and including version types, versions of the OS, whether or not they are on Wi-Fi or radio signal. So, you know, who knows what it is, but I hope they get it fixed soon.
Yeah. Now that they have multiple apps too, right? It could have to do with the fact, like, maybe you've updated the Facebook app, but not the messaging app, and those apps talk to each other. And so, like Justin said, I think that, you know, all of a sudden that brings in a lot of other factors potentially.
Good point. Niantic, maker of the game Ingress and developer of Pokemon Go, announced a $20 million Series A round of funding from its former owner Google, but more intriguingly from Nintendo and Pokemon Company Group. President and CEO of Pokemon Company, Tsunekazu Ishihara, said Pokemon's strategic investment in Niantic paves the way for a social mobile experience the world has never seen before. I am not a participant in Ingress. Are either of you? I mean, Justin, you have experience with handing people smartphones and having them run around in real life and do things.
You know, I've always felt that I am the greatest Ingress free agent to ever walk the earth, because I fly so much. I am all over the country. I feel like I could be a dominant Ingress player, but no, I haven't. Nor have I played Pokemon Go.
Jason, I'm assuming no Ingress participation for you either. No, well, this is apparently going to be a big thing, and the fact that Nintendo and Pokemon, which were involved before in the development of Pokemon Go, are willing to pour even more money into it to make it happen, makes me think that if you're a Pokemon fan, and if you're that Venn diagram cross of Pokemon fan and Ingress fan, you're going to be over the moon when this thing comes out. I
mean, yes. Ingress is a well-built game that has a big following. However, you got to wonder whether or not this isn't just going to be another way that they can put, a Pokemon branding on something, if it is indeed a Pokemon game and not something wholly original. YouTube has added a $3.99 a month subscription option to its YouTube gaming service. The so-called sponsorships give users in more than 40 countries perks like exclusive chat sessions and a chat badge. It does not, however, take away ads. Right now it's limited to beta testers, and as far as the revenue split, Google told Ars Technica, quote, the majority of the sponsorship split is given to the creator. YouTube Gaming also added the ability to stream games live from its Android app. The view from the front-facing camera is overlaid on the game footage.
I stopped listening to that sponsorships thing as soon as you said it didn't take away ads, because I mean, I guess it's like Patreon in that respect. You could help support somebody you really like, and Twitch has had a good track record of that sort of thing. But I'm much more interested in this idea that on my Android device now I can just stream, and it just uses the camera. I'm not sure that you have the right device hooks to be able to do this sort of thing in iOS. Maybe you do. I just don't know enough about it. But it seems like a pretty fantastic way to stream some Hearthstone, pick it up on your Android tablet, and just have the camera looking at you. Automatically doing an XSplit thing.
Believe the Twitch app might do this on Android as well. So here's the big thing. Twitch was Justin TV. It was essentially the exact same physical product. All that happened between Justin TV and Twitch was that they built a community. It was something that people wanted to gather around, and by giving it the video game hook, the Twitch has been very, very smart in terms of giving the people that support them the most their own emotes, their own chat-specific different pictures and stuff like that. They've been very, 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 very good with this. What YouTube needs to fix is just getting a better chat. YouTube Gaming's chat is the same as Hangouts. It's the same as Google Live. It's using the comment procedure. It's slow, it's clunky, and it doesn't really represent a good cohesive community, in my opinion. Until they switch that, until they can really get serious about their chat situation, I don't know how much this incentivizes somebody, even if it is a more generous split on that money, to the creators, to have a creator not go to where there is a bustling, booming community that is always looking for new talent.
I don't know if I agree with you on that. I'd be interesting to hear if there's anybody who does a lot of Twitch streaming in the audience, if you agree with Justin or not. Because I think, Justin, you're probably closer to this than I am, and so you probably have a better read on it. But I definitely have heard interviews with certain Twitch streamers, maybe unrepresentative because I haven't heard that many, who sort of said, I don't really, it's nice that the chat is there, but it's not something that I prioritize. I do pay attention to my community, but chat can be a cesspool, right? So I don't know.
But it's not necessarily between the creator and the chatters. It's between the chatters and themselves very often. Okay. The community is there. And if it is representative and it's easier to follow and it's easier to scroll back and it's easier to keep the thread of a conversation and to talk to somebody, even when it's a massive chat room where everybody's yelling and screaming and using racial slurs, if you can follow it, you will feel closer with the people you're talking to.
Meanwhile, YouTube, which employs my wife, is saying, shut up, Justin. It's not about chat today. We launched revenue sharing, and everybody says you're not paying creators enough. Well, we just tried to pay creators, so why did you change the topic to chat?
Because they are so far behind. And yes, you are building brick by brick what you need to do to be a viable Twitch competitor. And I believe in Google, I believe in YouTube, I believe that they can get there, and I think that it is good for Twitch to have a very, very active competitor, and especially one that's willing to cut more money in to their creators. However, it's hard for me to get excited when they are just basically putting together the basic functionality set that Twitch already has going.
Well, but that's the way it goes, right? You have to put in piece by piece over time, and every individual piece may not be the thing that gets you excited.
Sure, yeah. I mean, good for them. Also, on to the next one.
The chat is terrible, right? I mean, Google's chat is terrible, not just in YouTube, but as Justin said, across the whole thing. And they do things like this bring up what a weakness that is, and something that they haven't addressed.
All right, because there wasn't enough confusion with apps from 53 and Facebook called Paper, Dropbox has announced a new document collaboration tool called Paper. It's not a mobile app yet, but they do say they're planning on one. Wired describes the text editor as a cross between Google Docs and Medium. Key features in Paper include attribution, where each person's work is labeled with a unique cursor and their name, to-do lists with the ability to assign tasks and support comments, emojis, and stickers. Paper is currently in beta, invite only about 1,000 users. They're keeping it pretty strict, but you can go take a look at paper.dropbox.com if you want to see the sign-up page.
Do we need another way to write an online document?
Well, yes, right? We need competitors and we need new ways to collaborate. There are problems with Google Docs. There are problems with Office Live or Office 365. And so I would like to see someone take another shot at this for sure. Is Dropbox going to do it? I don't know. I'm not involved in it, so I haven't tried it. Some of these features sound pretty intriguing. But there was nothing in this Wired write-up of it that made me say, this definitely is an improvement over Google Docs, and so I must go and try it.
Yeah, there's no killer app. Dropbox is still, in my mind, thought to be something that only people I know that really subscribe to it and pay it money are the people who live in it for enterprise purposes. And I don't know if it has that one thing that would make me want to, run out and try it, even though I love Dropbox. I think that they've been a very, very cool company over the past 5 years, but I don't really know where they want to go with this. I mean, Google did Google Docs because they wanted to eat Microsoft's lunch and offer a service that used to cost money free and have it be online. I don't know what the point of this beyond iterating a service that we all already use, but maybe could use some improvement.
I will give you one feature that they could do better, that between Google Docs and between Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word, that is different in terms of collaboration. I don't know if it does it, but I'll throw this out there, is when you edit Google Docs, like if you add to someone's doc, or make changes, you know how in Microsoft, you have to go in and accept every single one of those changes or reject, so that you can keep what you originally had. In Google Docs, it's the opposite. All you can do is see those changes, but then you actually have to go in yourself if you want to sort of reject one. You have to kind of go in individually, and it's kind of hard to see. To take you can't go from looking at the changes to actually going and changing one of those things back, right? So there's somewhere, but these are like two almost extreme positions. And I think there's an opportunity for somebody to somehow, make that so that I can offer, I'm going to change this, but I'll offer you the option to reject it or keep it if it's like a big thing. Or I'll just change it, and then you can look in the revision history and see it. But there's a big gulf between those two things, and I think there's an option to get to Tom's point of there's still, I think, some room to innovate in this sort of document collaboration space. That's one way that maybe paper, I hate that name too. Like there's, way too much opportunity for confusion, but that's a way for them potentially to innovate, for example.
Ars Technica has a review of Valve's Steam OS living room ecosystem, including their gaming and streaming hardware, The authors liked Steam OS's smooth operation and UI layout and 1,500 game launch library. Misses include occasionally hanging on certain screens, issue with the on-screen keyboard and mouse, and performance was a mixed bag with some games not working at all with Steam Link. The controller, while customizable, was confusing and not as intuitive as the current console controllers. I read that and I say, finally, the PC gaming experience in the living room.
Kind of true, actually. Square has filed for an IPO Wednesday, planning to list on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol SQ. Square reported a $77.6 million net loss on net revenue of $560.5 million in the first half of 2015, compared to a loss of $79 million on $372 million of revenue in the first half of 2014. And they did admit in their filing that, yes, Dorsey might be distracted because he's also the CEO of Twitter.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a lot of great news, right? Like, doesn't that seem kind of weird?
What, the revenue stuff or the Dorsey stuff?
The revenue stuff and the Dorsey.
The revenue stuff is I think expected. Like, this is a company that says, yes, we're going to lose money less and less over time. We're spending a lot of money. I don't think, and I'm trusting financial professionals here, I don't think the financial professionals have looked at this and said that's bad news. No. It's more a concern about whether Dorsey can continue to keep the ship pointed in the right direction.
It just seems like they are cutting a very, very, very specific path for themselves, and their CEO taking on another gigantic challenge may not be the most exciting element of that. Netflix disappointed investors with a reported addition of 880,000 U.S. subscribers in Q3, short of its own forecast of 1.15 million internationally. Oh, sorry, 1.15 million domestic. Internationally, Netflix added 2.74 million subscribers compared with its projection of 2.40 million. CEO Reed Hastings blamed the smaller U.S. number on involuntary churn caused by the issuance of new chip-based credit cards.
And here, once again, the professional financial analysts are like, that sounds like crap to me. A lot of people got new cards with chips without their number getting changed. Most of the time, their old number worked for a while. And as if they were actually active Netflix users, when they tried to launch Netflix and it didn't work because their subscription expired, they'd go and update the payment information, wouldn't they? So I don't know if I buy that myself.
That's a big shortfall. That's not like a couple, oh yeah, that is not a rounding error. Like we're talking about, over 200,000 subscribers. We're talking, like a difference of like 20% in what their forecast was. So yeah, I'm not totally buying that either. And like you said, Tom, if they are active subscribers, they're going to notice right away and get that change. So it is curious kind of what's going on with Netflix. They're definitely doing some programming changes, and maybe that's hurting them. They also recently did a price increase, but that wouldn't have been reflected in these numbers. Anyway, it is curious and certainly something to watch.
I believe them when they say it's churn. I just don't believe them when they say it's because of new chip cards.
Yeah, I think it might have more to do with the fact that things that debuted as original content in Q3 might not have rung with the same passion that stuff that they've debuted in Q1 and Q2. And if you look at what they're releasing in Q4, a lot of very, very varied things, including their first original movie, Beasts of No Nation. So I think that they're very much hoping that comes around for them.
Well, and also they have more competition now, more Amazon Prime originals, the launch of HBO now. So it's getting to be a more competitive marketplace. BizTech Africa reports MTN Rwanda has opened its corridor with Safaricom in Kenya to allow MTN Mobile Money and M-Pesa users to send and receive money seamlessly between the two countries. Last month, MTN Rwanda and MTN Uganda launched cross-border transaction between those two countries. So that enables more money to move around regionally.
Great news. PC World reports NVIDIA announced that sometime in December, GeForce owners will only be able to download game-ready drivers by signing up for NVIDIA's GeForce Experience service. Game-ready drivers are created for specific games to maximize performance with NVIDIA hardware. Don't want to give NVIDIA your email address? You'll only get quarterly releases for bug fixes, new features, security updates, and so on. Although, for anybody who downloaded the GeForce NVIDIA driver for the new Batman game, which turned out to be a bit of a poop show, I don't know how exciting of news that is for people.
Yeah, I mean, NVIDIA says, hey, 90% of the people who use game-ready drivers are already GeForce Experience users, to which I say, 10% of your users can make a lot of noise about not wanting to have to give you their email address to get a driver. So brace for that. Brace for impact, NVIDIA, because I think it's coming. SP Sheridan noted Cory Doctorow's Boing Boing post about a paper presented at the ACM conference on computer and communications security on how the NSA might be breaking unbreakable encryption. It's pretty simple. The paper describes how Diffie-Hellman key exchanges use a few large prime numbers to save on computing and programming resources, and the practice is considered secure because it would take a vast amount of money to attack it. So apparently what the NSA does is use a vast amount of money to attack it. The paper supposes that the NSA spends most of their budget attacking Diffie-Hellman. The NSA has advised people to use elliptic curves instead of Diffie-Hellman. Everyone thought that was trying to trick you into using a less secure method, but they might have been playing a double agent. The paper states that the researchers can't prove the practice, but that it does fit the facts known from Snowden leaks.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skype has added a feature where you can send anyone a URL and they can join your Skype call, whether they have a Skype account or not, on the web, in iOS and Android. Users of the Windows, Mac, or web versions of Skype will find a new plus new button where they can click to get the URL. The features available in the US and UK will roll out everywhere over the next couple of weeks. Wow, this actually seems like Skype is innovating on their product. Clutch your pearls, America.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Jason, but I can't find anything bad about this unless it's in the implementation, which I haven't tried, but it seems like a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you sent me the link to this Hangout because it's easier to do that than to invite people to it, right? So
yeah.
I do the same thing. We have internal Hangouts. We have people in UK, and sometimes I'll send them an invite, and it'll take like 5 minutes before it shows up for no apparent reason, or sometimes won't show up at all. So yeah, the link is a good thing.
Microsoft told Ars Technica that the Windows 10 upgrade was mistakenly checked by default, leading some users to think they were being forced into upgrade to Windows 10. Microsoft says they're removing the check. Mistake. Gotcha, Microsoft. Oops, did we make that a default option? We're so sorry.
Oh, man. Anyway, look at our numbers on how many people downloaded.
Yeah, because a bunch of people, and you could uncheck it, you could not reboot, but a bunch of people went to their computer, sat down, and found it saying, great, reboot to install Windows 10, and if they hadn't really thought about it and rebooted, they would have installed Windows 10. So kind of a bad thing to mistakenly check by default, I think. And that's a look at all of our stories for today. You can submit stories. Some of these were submitted by you guys at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. It helps us keep an eye on all the news of the day, understand what some of you are interested in. That Diffie-Hellman story, obviously, came from SB Sheridan. That's a great example. So get in there and vote. dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. And that is a look at the headlines. All right, so this Yahoo account key thing is very interesting. I can't get it to work. My app keeps telling me that notifications are turned off, even though they're not. I went in and I turned on all the notifications and it still won't work. That might be just a particular user thing, but let's assume it works for everybody. Yeah. The idea is I go to my desktop, and just like two-factor authentication, I click password and it says, please go to your phone. But instead of having to read a number off my phone and then type it in, I just tap accept on my phone and then it says, okay, your authenticated device says it's you, we'll log you in. Seems great, right?
Well, I think that there are certainly problems with it, although I appreciate what they're trying to do and trying to use elements of the technology to make sure that this is a more secure pathway than just a password, which is pointed out many times when discussing this kind of stuff, are hilariously vulnerable, especially when you repeat them and don't use strong enough passwords. But I guess the question is, are the issues with this, are they an improvement on that?
Yeah, why aren't they doing two-factor? I just kind of don't understand why they. I guess they're just trying to make it easy, and maybe this is more secure than your password named password or your dog or that kind of thing. Maybe it's
definitely
more aimed.
It's better than password 123, right? Yeah, that's for sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But I mean, would you guys do it? I don't know. I don't think that I would do it. To replace a password, I would much rather do, have like two-factor authentication. I'd feel a lot better about that than I would feel about this.
Well, it is fairly secure because you have to have the device, and so it's kind of similar to two-factor authentication in that you have to have the device. However, it's not two-factor authentication, which is my problem with it. Yeah. And they do have a backup for it, which is sending a text or email. It is in surface ways very similar to the UAF standard that the FIDO Alliance is trying to put forth, where you can do essentially a form of two-factor authentication on one device using something biometric. But this just isn't, what Yahoo's doing just isn't as robust as what FIDO is recommending, and Yahoo isn't part of the FIDO Alliance, and I wonder why. If Yahoo wanted to do something like this, why not go the whole 9 yards, join FIDO, and be one of the first people to say, hey, you know what, we're providing on-device authentication. I guess the problem is they want to use your mobile device to be able to log into everything. And I think the FIDO thing only does the UFAF on a particular device, and there's UTF, which allows you to do something with a YubiKey or something like that for two-factor authentication. But in other words, what I'm saying is there's lots of people working really hard to create a viable, secure standard that will get rid of passwords. I don't understand why Yahoo just went off on their own and created something that might just cause more questions.
Yeah, exactly. You got to kind of applaud them for trying to, tackle the password thing. But at the same time, like you said, why go off and do your own thing, this sort of strange little implementation, versus integrate with some standards or build on work that other people are already doing. Smart people in the security field, in authentication and identity. So yeah, that's my problem with it too. The biggest one is two-factor, but also that it's just kind of their own thing off on their own.
So let me ask you a noob question, because I think a lot of people, when interacting with email, usually work on devices for which they are already logged in. What is the biggest use case for something like this? Is it signing into your email from a non-trusted third-party computer? Is it just if you're switching between two inboxes that you have to enter in your password periodically? Like, what is the use case for this?
Well, if I'm on my desktop and I don't want to have to remember the password, right? And it's what Jason mentioned earlier. I use the same password for everything so I can remember it. Well, now you can create a really complex password. You don't have to remember it. And wherever you are with your laptop, and you've got your phone with you, you just click password on your laptop. And instead of asking you to put in your password, it launches a notification on your phone, and you go to your phone and you say, yes, I just tried to log in, and then it automatically logs you in through the cloud on the desktop. That is a little different than FIDO, because FIDO works on the device, which is more secure because it keeps your authentication information away from third-party providers.
Yeah. But you do have to be connected on your phone. You got to be on mobile data or Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a good point. Without an internet connection on your phone, you're not going to be able to authenticate yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it seems interesting. I applaud them doing it. I don't know if this is the oh wow, slap your forehead, we finally found the solution for weak passwords. Yeah,
boy. I mean, I do like that I guess they're a little bit forward looking. They have said that they'll, expand this so it can work with biometrics. So presumably, you could tie this into something like Touch ID on Apple, and of course the new Nexus devices have fingerprint readers built in, which is great. And Android devices have tried a number of different kind of biometrics, including sort of the facial recognition as well. So, in that sense, to give them the benefit of the doubt, maybe they're going to build on this to try to do more. I don't see how it's that it's almost like half a step toward things like what Google's doing, Gmail with two-factor, where you get that, when you log in, you always get a thing, which I'd recommend everybody, if you're not already using two-factor on your Google account, to do that. Think about how much data they have about you, It's not insignificant. Same thing with other services that offer it, Twitter, Slack, a number of others. I mean, I encourage everybody to use two-factor. I guess I'm just not sure why they did this instead of just implementing standard two-factor. I
mean, maybe it's because they do have two-factor authentication for Yahoo Mail, and it just didn't get a lot of uptake. And then they did the on-demand passwords thing, where you could have a password either texted or emailed to you, and they didn't get a lot of uptake. And so I think what they're saying is, what's preventing people from taking these things up? I guess it's implementation. Let's try to make the implementation even easier. You don't have to look at anything else. You don't have to remember a number. You just get a prompt, you press yes, you log in. But even then, I just think I think your guys' reaction is probably representative, which is most people just aren't going to want to bother with it until you make it so you don't have to do much of anything, which is sad to say in this world where all kinds of information is being breached and leaked all over the place. People aren't going to want to do a lot to secure their email account.
It's true.
And if Yahoo was cooperating with the FIDO Alliance, I feel like then we would start to have a groundswell, right? Because then you'd see a lot of different companies doing this. And I think that's where, if we have a hope of getting rid of passwords, it's something like that. And I'm not saying FIDO is the, the cure-all for passwords, but some sort of massive effort where lots of big companies, not just a Yahoo, but a Microsoft and a Facebook, all at the same time say, we've got this new way of logging in, it's really easy and it's really secure, and we've brought in Bruce Schneier and all of these other people to swear to it that it's really secure. Go and use it. And people are like, wow, it's really easy. And the smart people say it's secure. That's when we get to no passwords.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like this should end with like a Wayne's World, outro, because you painted a beautiful picture, Tom.
Yeah.
I don't know when that happens.
Well said, Tom. Exactly.
All right. Let's get to our pick of the day. Jeff from Cool Like the Other Side of the Pillow, Boston, says, I saw Browser Stack in action the other day and came away very impressed. It allows you to test web code in multiple versions of IE, Firefox, Chrome, Safari, etc. across many devices, including Android and iOS, all within the browser of your choice. Especially cool is its ability to tunnel traffic back to your local machine so their cloud browsers can access code running on your development servers. This, of course, saves you from keeping multiple browser versions, virtual machines, and mobile devices around to test your code for cross-platform compatibility. Browserstack.com is the place if you want to find out more information about Jeff's pick. Thank you, Jeff, for sending that. You can send your picks to feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. You can find my picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. All right, so we got a lot of emails. First of all, around document signing, Mike sent us an email detailing how he recently interviewed with Google, digitally signed a form using his personal Komodo signing certificate, figuring that's a lot more secure than some like scrawling digital signature. When he got to Google, they made him wet sign the form again, as he said, presumably because my digital signature didn't look as they expected when it printed out. So even Google, or at least some HR person there, doesn't know how to properly deal with digital signatures.
Hashtag shots fired.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
It's just a representative sample of how documents and signatures and whatnot just aren't. No, that's another problem people need to figure out.
I mean,
we had an IT manager at an engineering firm named Mark wrote in concerning hybrid 2-in-1s and convertible form factors. Says, I can see something like the Surface Pro or Surface Book being very well received in some departments, mainly by individuals who travel extensively. We use several Microsoft technologies like Office and Direct Access for VPN-less network connectivity. Having Windows 10 on these systems will allow the user to have full laptop experience at a form factor that is more convenient for travel or in-the-field drawing check. I know several individuals are trying to emulate this by using iPads or Android tablets, but these require MDM, mobile device management, in order to receive email and are not allowed on the corporate network, so they're packing multiple platforms. I believe that the hybrid convertible form factor will be the system of choice for a small but significant minority of corporate users in the next 3 to 4 years. What do you think of that, Jason?
Yeah, I think this is exactly right. Mark, I think Mark is exactly right. We talked a good deal about this on the Tech Republic podcast this week with me and Bill Detweiler and Dan Patterson and Steve Ranger. And we kind of said the same thing, that for a small number of people who need to do multiple things with a tablet, right, that need to really multitask and have 3 or 4 apps that they need to access, the Surface is really winning over a lot of users right now, versus like the iPad, where you typically have 1 task or sometimes 2 that you need to do. You know, it has a better app ecosystem, and it's really good at those types of things. And so, but like you said, there's the MDM aspect is important, or its new name, EMM, Enterprise Mobility Management. So many acronyms, but I think that the Surface and now the Surface Book, the Surface Pro 4 and now the Surface Book have a chance to win, I think, larger portions of that market, of the very kind of professional users, the sort of creative set, the IT administrator set, as well as those kind of power users who need to multitask on their tablets.
Now, for the home user, one of the points I was making is, what if you have a lot of apps that you use on your Android tablet or your iOS tablet that aren't available for Windows yet? And Yaru from Malaysia, where he says, winter, I mean, the DMCA is coming. I think he's referring to the TPP. He says, look, I use an app called Manga Rock on my iPad, but he says he can't get it for his 8-inch Windows tablet, but there is an Android version. So he tried a program called Amid OS, which allows you to device emulate Android while running Windows. Now, that is kind of device or resource intensive. So he also is considering dual booting with Android x86. The advantage this has over Amid OS is you don't need to share resources like RAM or the processor on a device like a tablet. That's an important consideration, as resources are tight and limited. So if you're someone who is thinking about getting a Windows tablet and has a couple of Android apps that they don't want to give up, this might help you make the transition if you want.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And
that
then
is the big drawback. Sorry, that is the big drawback, right? Is
Absolutely.
The app ecosystem.
Steve wanted to tell us about a group called Not Impossible Labs at notimpossible.com who do a program called the Eye Writer. They hacked together a way for an LA graffiti artist with ALS to paint again with the use of eye gaze technology. It's a cool example of the maker community coming together and using technology to enable the expression of someone's artistic ability that was previously thought lost. And, Steve works for the CEA and accessibility issues, among other things. He found a YouTube video of the demonstration of this. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, we've written about Not Impossible multiple times on Tech Republic, including the iWriter, and they did some other things where they went into Africa and 3D printed limbs for kids who had lost their limbs, like because of mines, and that kind of thing. And they taught the community there how to do it themselves, to basically take a basic off-the-shelf 3D printer and use it to reprint to print replaceable limbs. It's amazing stuff.
Very cool stuff, Steve. Thanks for sending that along. And thank you, Jason Hiner, for joining us today, man. It was fantastic.
Yeah, love it. Anytime.
Go check out techrepublic.com, of course. That is Jason's domain. And, of course, followthegeeksbook.com. Couple more weeks left in the Leo Laporte chapter, right?
Yes, a couple weeks left there to read that for free. So so come on over and do that. Send us some feedback on any of the chapters, remember, including Chapter 4 about Mr. Tom Merritt. And you will get your chance if you we're going to include the best insights that we get from the chapters in the book at the end. So it's your chance to have your voice included in the book.
Great folks in that book. Veronica Belmont is in there. Gina Trapani is in there. Lots of good folks. And I've read all your free chapters so far, and I'm still can't wait to read the final version because of all of the insights and things that people are contributing. And I can't wait to see the final version.
Yeah,
really cool.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Tom, and thanks, Justin.
Justin Robert Young.
Yeah.
What's up with you?
Oh, man, we got all sorts of stuff happening. Head on over to thecontendergame.us. You will, actually, no, I think it's just thecontender.us. Thecontender.us. Sign up for our mailing list. Right there on the front page, you can just go to the volunteer button. That'll put you on the mailing list. We were supposed to have it out this week. The big warts and all, how we made $142,000 on Kickstarter and how we have spent far more than that to produce this product. But we've actually had more things happen throughout the process, so we want to make sure it is as complete as possible. So go ahead and get on the mailing list. You're going to get all that. And, of course, if you haven't pre-ordered the game, please go ahead and do it now. We have our final proofs coming back from the from the plant. So this thing will be home for Christmas. You will have your copy of the Contender before Christmas. It is the holiday gift to get for the political or gaming friend in your life.
You know how you can't tell the players without a scorecard? You got very little chance of identifying most of the presidential candidates without the Contender. I'm just saying. Go do it. Play it. Enjoy it. Thank you to our patrons who support the show. The value for value model has been working for us because of you who support us. If you're not someone who supports us yet, would you be willing to? Head to dailytechnewsshow.com/support to do so. And that's it.
Tom,
whoa, what?
I totally blanked on this, but this is like the only place where I should be plugging this. I do a one-mic show called The Jury Podcast. I interviewed Tom Merritt on it, and it is, if you love this show, it is a great interview. We go into stuff that I don't think you've ever talked about publicly about the show coming together, versions of the show that might have existed, the circumstances that went into that. So we talked while we were watching the Cardinals get eliminated by the Cubs in the baseball playoffs. So you can see, or listen to rather, Tom's heart break as a overzealous base runner tries to run in from third base and stops a huge rally that could have broken things wide open for the Cardinals.
Cubs fans will enjoy it for sure. Daily Tech News Show fans will probably enjoy it as well. So that is it for the show. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. You can give us a call, 512-59-DAILY, 593-2459. Listen to the show live Monday through Friday, 4:30 Eastern at alphageekradio.com. Visit our website at dailytechnewsshow.com. Back tomorrow with Andrew Main, Richard Gunther from Cedia, and Len Peralta. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Woo! Another good one in the books. Thank you, guys.
Nice.
Well, Jason, a pleasure meeting you.
Same here. I guess we've never podcasted before together.
Is that
before.
right? I hadn't even thought about that.
think.
Yeah, no, I don't. I do not believe so. No.
Fantastic.
Very cool.
And I am going to go right back to sleep.
Okay, yeah, get some rest, man. Good job, though. Well done.
All right, I'll talk to you.
Cheers.
Justin.
Jason, if you need to take off, definitely take off
Cool.
as well.
I do have to break off and go edit a couple things.
No worries.
As it were. So yeah, but pleasure being on. Always fun. And yeah, hit me up anytime.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on, man.
All right. See you,
Talk
Tom.
to you soon. You know what? And I forgot to promote 5 apps. I should have done that too. So I'll do it now for whoever is left listening or watching. Go to techrepublic.com, look up the videos, or just search 5 apps. And it's a series of videos that I do that's complementary to a series of columns that they write, recommending 5 apps for business nerds every week. Usually I do 4 a month. Go check it out, techrepublic.com. Thanks, Tinvec. Tinvec says they'll keep me company. Roger's around too. Hey, Roger. Hello. What should we pick for the title? No more passwords! Exclamation point. Yahoo! Exclamation point. Yahoo up their standards, now up yours. Too many papers! Exclamation point. A lot of exclamation points. To do, get rid of to do. Google, I choose you. Nice Pokemon reference. Past words. That's pretty elegant. Do you have a favorite, Roger?
Not really. Nothing really comes out and
Can't really hear you. Sort
there's
of
nothing
can hear
out
you.
there that really comes out and bites me.
I kind of like past words.
Oh, past words.
Yahoo upped their standards, now up yours is funny. And no more passwords! Exclamation point Yahoo. Those are my 3 favorite out of this bunch.
No more passwords. I would go with no more passwords Yahoo. I'll vote for that.
It's descriptive.
Can I
Yeah,
vote multiple?
we'll give it a couple of. I still got to import this into Audacity.
Levelator.
So no, it's levelated. Give Showbot another couple seconds here. Shake out.
Shake it up. Shake it. No, Co. That's his last name. K-O-H.
Yahoo up their standards now. If yours is making me laugh though.
That's because of that commercial with was it Orlando Jones? No, it wasn't him.
I don't remember.
The 7-Up yours.
Yeah.
7-Up yours.
Make 7 up yours. You know, I am going to go with no more passwords Yahoo, though. I'm going to listen to my better Roger of my angel, the angel of my better Roger.
Wait.
What, something. The angels of our nature.
Wait, so are you implying I'm an angel?
You're an angel, Roger.
That's what my mother used to tell me. Said no one ever.
Hey.
Did you have a pet? Did your mother have a pet name for you when you grew up? Or she just called you-
she called me Tom instead of Thomas.
Except
Thomas
when you were in
Andrew
trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Thomas Andrew Merritt, get in here. That's one of those things that I think happened, but I actually don't remember happening. Like, it feels familiar. Like, yeah, I got called Thomas Andrew Merritt when I was in trouble. Sure, I did. But I couldn't actually describe me a situation I remember where it actually happened.
Like, I've only been called by my proper name at if there was some sort of family meeting, but that's about it. But it wasn't trouble. It was just like, okay, we're gonna move. But if I was in trouble, they would scream out Roger, smack me.
You didn't get smacked, did you?
My dad actually never smacked me. My mom did the knuckle rap against the temples.
Oh yeah,
It's a classic Chinese parent technique.
Mm-hmm. I'd get slapped on the back of my hand. You know, sort of like the classic reaching for the cookie when you're not supposed to.
Yeah, I don't know. Physical. I don't know if physical deterrents would have worked against me unless
that just made me make sure I didn't get caught next time. That's all. Don't want to get ripped on the hand. Better do it when she's not looking.
Exactly. Am I thinking of?
I'm mostly positive about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this year. Have you been watching it?
Nope. I just can't get. It's already in the third season, right?
Yeah.
Too late. I tried the first season. I just hated it.
The first half of the first season, especially, is just bad.
It was just it left such a foul taste, and it's weird because I'm actually trying to stick through Gotham, even though.
Yeah, I gave up on Gotham.
Really uneven. There's some really good episodes.
Yeah.
That really shines. Like, oh, this is real. But then there are other ones. It's like, I don't know. Which is why I like Flash and Arrow, because they're not like amazeballs kind of thing, but they are solid. They're consistently solid.
Yeah. My only issue with the Flash this week. Have you watched it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to get spoilery for anybody listening, but my only issue with the Flash this week is that I didn't quite buy Barry's attitude toward Jay.
I see. Yeah,
at the beginning, and then they did that scene with Iris that kind of like brought it out and made it. And it's like, okay, that made me feel a little better about it. Like they weren't ignoring that he was overreacting.
So Iris is, I think, the weakest character. The character is not the actress, but the way they've characterized her, because she does a complete 180. For this season, because she's a total like.
Oh, but I don't care. I know what you mean, but I'm like I so prefer this Iris over the one. From
I agree, but it's like it's so. I don't know. There wasn't even that kind of epiphany moment where, well, maybe there was after what's his name, popped or killed himself to stop the bad guy. I'm trying to avoid spoilers.
Yeah.
But
although that was a major spoiler, but at least you didn't say the name.
Yeah, but I see what you mean, but I think that has more to do with just the actor's approach to kind of to kind of the way it's portrayed. Like I see the whole thing of him feeling kind of like that way and why he would act that way.
Now, Lau Roman says there's still some bad and tropery writing in Flash and Arrow. But
see, this is the thing. That genre lends itself incredibly to that kind of thing. Right, superhero TV shows are incredibly trope heavy.
So I think what you're saying is, in this case, that's a taste issue, not a quality issue.
Yeah, exactly. It goes with the content. It goes with that genre. It's like saying police procedurals deal so much with like criminal drama. It's like, yeah, of course, You know, that's a trope too. That there's always a bad cop.
Although that's one of the things that people who praise The Wire and The Shield is that it broke out of that to an extent.
To a degree, but it didn't free itself completely, which is weird because then I see the Shield on Gotham. What's his name?
Well, Michael Chiklis.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
but I said
he's not the Shield. He's Michael Chiklis.
It doesn't matter. He's the Shield to me.
He's the Thing to me. Because I never saw the Shield until after I'd seen Fantastic Four.
And DC has a character called the Shield that they got when they bought Charlton or some other comics company, which was a blatant ripoff of Captain America. No, actually, no. They created the Shield first, and then I think Timely got sued for Captain America because they both use shields. And so Captain America's shield went from the kind of the angular police badge style shield to the circular one, which ended up being a much better replacement because you can throw the round shield and make it bounce off stuff and roll on the ground.
And it's so iconic now because of that.
And I really like the new season of Doctor Who, which is funny because I didn't think I would.
Really? So we can actually start talking about it on East Meets West again.
I'm only on the 3rd episode because... well,
there's only been 3 episodes. Wait.
There's 5 episodes so far.
Of Doctor Who?
Yeah, the new
season. Only 3.
Has it? No, there was the latest one was the...
Maybe there's been 4.
No, there's been 4 or 5.
No, there definitely have not been 5.
Oh, okay.
Because there was a 2-parter that just concluded.
Well,
and there was the season premiere, but that was also a 2-parter, the season premiere. Yeah. So I think you're right. There's 4. Okay.
There's 4. So I have not seen the second half of the 2-parter of the
underwater one.
Yeah, I haven't seen the second half of that. Well, but I have to say, I really like it now. Like the first Capaldi season was all over the place, and I just totally did not care. Like if he sent the TARDIS into the middle of a supernova, it's like whatever. We'll just get a new doctor.
I felt like the problem with last season was that Moffat was trying to play around with like the doctor having doubt, which okay, that's fine. That's a great way to investigate a character and flesh out a character. But that's not why I like the doctor. I like the doctor because he doesn't have much doubt. I don't mind him having periods of doubt or like dark sides or whatever, but I don't want that to be him. And like most of last season was the doctor just like, am I a good man? Shut up. Of course you are. You're the Time Lord. The rules don't apply.
So this is the thing that bothers me. I understand it's the same doctor no matter what kind of a regeneration he goes into, but it's just like right off the bat he's like emo, and you really like, I don't even know enough about this character. Like even with Chris Eccleston, they gave them a little bit of that at the beginning, but it was drawn out. It wasn't just like, okay, now I'm moody and going to be like a weird persnickety kind of guy.
That's the kind of thing I really liked about the reboot but the restart and Chris Eccleston was that they made him have a reason to be a little moody, right? He was the last of the Time Lords, and I loved that. Because that pervaded him. It wasn't just a crisis of like, oh, I don't know if I'm good anymore. I'm not going to be good at things.
But also the story.
I'm angry at you for no reason.
The stories just weren't very entertaining.
Yeah,
they just weren't enjoyable. They were just boring. Like after the whole the season opener of the 2-parter, I was like, oh, this is really good. I like it now.
Mm-hmm.
Just especially when Davros goes all like, Myneth on, or like he totally screws with the doctor's head. I like that aspect. Like he goes into the whole fake drama thing.
Oh crap! I did it again.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's not your fault.
That's what my 4th girlfriend said to me. You did it wrong.
I don't know how that happened.
Oh, I need to
the wrong track. All right, I'm gonna go.
Okay.
And tell everyone goodbye. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll talk to you later. I'm gonna fix this. Goodbye.
Okay.